What's up, guys? Today we have Nick Fuentes with Sneako exposing the truth about Erika Kirk, Charlie, Turning Point, and Candace Owens.
As far as Erika and Candace are concerned, I can't take a side on that because I have issues with both of them. I think that Turning Point did kind of opportunistically take advantage of Charlie's murder. I think that's obvious. Their big memorial.
Fireworks everywhere. She's wearing leather pants, and the way she's hugging JD Vance is a little. It's a bit much, you know.
Yeah, and she's look. Everybody grieves differently. Totally valid.
Okay. That's
and honest to God, I pray for her and for her family. You can't even imagine. She's got 2 kids now without a father.
It's a tragedy.
It's horrible, and I really feel for her. That being said, she is clearly acting. When she goes on these shows, it's so canned. And we just have to be honest. She's doing she's in the interview with Barry Weiss, and Barry goes, "What do you have to say to Candace Owens?" And she goes, Stop. That's it. she goes, that's it. That's all I have to say. It's like, come the fuck on. And the handkerchief.
Yeah, I know. And she's always like, this strategic amount of tears. Oh, mafango.
I mean, the handkerchief. Come on now. And it's like Ben Shapiro's hat. It's getting bigger. She's going to have like a fucking, beach towel next to it. We shouldn't joke about that. I do feel for her. But Turning Point is doing a very bad job. Because, look, I think I have my criticisms of Turning Point, but they have a right to defend themselves because they're being accused of, murdering her fucking husband. That's a very serious accusation. Candace is saying that she murdered her fucking husband and the father of her kids. That's a very serious charge that, if real, if you're not sincere, it's like an evil lie.
Yeah.
And I think that Turning Point, they should be sticking up for themselves. They're just not doing a good job of it. It's very bad PR. It's too calculated. It's inconsistent. It's all over the place. That being said, I think Candace is extremely dishonest also. I think she plays fast and loose with her theories. I don't think she has a lot of intellectual integrity. And I think she's sort of a narcissist. I think that at this point, it's hard not to say that this has become a grift. Every week, she goes on Instagram. This changes everything. Tune in tomorrow. Oh, this just changed the whole conversation. Watch my show next week.
I like Candace, but it's like she shouldn't have posted text messages showing that Charlie was listening to Nicki Minaj. Mm-hmm. That was like a little bit. If I die, please don't show that. I like Monster. I like that verse that she had on Twisted Fantasy, but don't.
Yeah.
Him fangirling over Nicki Minaj.
He
is
goes,
like a bit
yes.
much. Yeah. I don't want to see.
Bitch,
I don't want to know that.
Monster.
I don't want to know that, man. Like maybe keep that. But hopefully she gets some. Is able to figure this stuff out. Do you think that Erika's trying to reposition Charlie's Israeli position? Because it seems like towards his death, Charlie was critical. He went on the Patrick Bet-David show and he's questioned what happened on October 7th very publicly. And he was there with Megyn Kelly, I think one of his last podcasts, saying that he was getting bullied and that you have to have complete allegiance to the Israeli lobby.
That's the thing. People say, well, it was about to turn. All those clips that people put out from the PBD podcast, even his own podcast, those are both 2 years old. So I don't think it was about to turn because honestly, 2 years passed by since those clips and Charlie was still a Zionist defending Israel. So I don't really think it was about to turn. But let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Erika's trying to reposition and change the narrative to make it seem like he was fully supportive of Israel. And also they met in Israel. Didn't they? They meet? They met on a pilgrimage. I didn't know Christians go on a pilgrimage to Israel, but apparently they do. They didn't meet in America and in a cornfield or underneath the bleachers at a football game. They met in Israel.
Well, and you know what else is weird about her? She's like 6 years older than him. Isn't that weird?
I don't often see marriages like that.
She's 37, he's 31. And, if you're Charlie Kirk, you're rich, you're famous, going to be extremely powerful. They get set up, and she's 6 years older. So I said that from the start, that it seemed that their marriage was perhaps arranged. And I don't know what her deal is, but the guy that seems to have gotten powerful at Turning Point is Andrew Colvett. And Andrew Colvett, he's kind of holding down the fort on the Charlie Kirk show. He comes from Salem Media. Salem Media is like a big Zionist outfit. Marissa Straight works there. She runs PragerU. She's that Unit 8200 officer who's at PragerU. And Salem also got that contract with the Israel lobby. They registered under FARA, $6 million contract to lobby with Israel with Brad Parscale.
$6 million contract?
Literally, yeah, $6-7 million, something like that. It's in that ballpark. Very good. But yeah, so they seem to be steering Turning Point hard back into the... And Colvett was on Ross Douthat on the New York Times podcast saying, it's okay to criticize the foreign aid, but you must verify that Israel has a right to exist, kind of echoing their line from SAS in July. I will say, I think it's overblown, the extent to which Charlie was turning on Israel. I think that's basically fake.
You don't think he was turning on Israel?
No.
Okay.
I think that it's, and I've explained it a lot of times on my show, but I think that what happened with Charlie is that first of all, we have to understand he was everything to everybody. Turning Point made $140 million because he was a brown noser. He was a grifter. He was very good at milking donors for money. And he, like Trump, is a contradiction. Like, to the far right, he was becoming anti-Semitic. To the Israel lobby, he was one of their only remaining allies. And so I think that you have to consider that Charlie, being a youth leader, he had to go on the campus and defend Israel to all these college kids that are becoming groypers. And I think that wore on him. And I think he got frustrated. I think he was going to the Israeli donors and saying, well, I'm getting killed out here. Not just, I'm not being glib when I say that. But like he's going saying, I'm getting grilled for being pro-Israel. It's hurting my reputation. I have to defend this shit. Mm-hmm. And he said in his letter to Netanyahu, he goes, I think I'm defending Israel more than you're defending yourself. And so I think he was really put between a rock and a hard place because the Israelis were completely intolerant of guys like Tucker and stuff like that. And Charlie needed to keep those people happy, needed to keep the college kids on the plantation. So I think he was just kind of being tugged in two different directions and being ripped apart. I don't think he was like an ideologue who had an epiphany and like realized Israel's a problem and anything like that. I think that's overblown.
And you were right about J.D. Vance. I remember the last stream, maybe the last desktop stream we did, we were in my Miami apartment, and it was the day before you got unbanned on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And I remember you said, Elon, give me my fucking Twitter back. And you got it back. And one of the major thing you said, I had told you that I think Ben Carson was going to get the VP nomination. You're like, no, it's J.D. Vance. Remember, I'm not going to say who, somebody told me that tip. He's like, oh, put all your money on this. He's going to, I don't gamble, but I think he lost a lot of money. And you were right. J.D. Vance got the nomination. It seems like they are trying to position him to maybe take some of Charlie Kirk's empty spot, but also as the next leader of America. What's the truth about this guy? You're the only person to really expose the fact that he was in the Senate for only 2 years and then he got VP. He was a never Trumper. I remember that. He was very vocally anti-Trump, and now he's the biggest glazer for Trump. What's the truth about this guy? He has some weird connections going on. J.D. Vance is a fake name. He was part of that Yale group. He's getting funded by Peter Thiel, who has CIA connections. Peter Thiel is gay, right?
Yep.
And he's bankrolling AI right now, funding the end of the world. He's giving J.D. Vance $15 million. What's going on here?
Well, I mean, that's such a big can of worms with Vance, but I would say that in particular after Turning Point, here's what I found really fascinating. So, you remember, I forget what event it was at. They went to the White House for Erika to receive the Medal of Freedom on Charlie's behalf from Trump and Vance. And I don't know if it was there or if it was at a different event. I think Vance did a Turning Point event and Erika was there. And remember, Erika gave him that really affectionate hug where she like held the back of his head. And everyone said it was super weird. And she said on the stage, she said, no one can fill my husband's shoes except for Vance, basically. Yeah. And people said, well, that's obvious what that was. Also, Vance really leapt in front of Charlie's death. Like, he carried Charlie's casket, had him buried with honors or whatever. He had the military fly the casket. He went on Charlie Kirk's show the week after the assassination. So that was kind of like one flavor. Then Tucker interviewed me at the end of October. Now, Tucker's son, Buckley, works in Vance's press office. So when Tucker interviewed me, the Israel lobby put the screws in Vance. They said, what is your connection to Tucker? Are you going to fire his son? You need to disavow. You need to show that you stand with Israel against the Groypers. So then, last week, Erika was being interviewed, and they said, do you think J.D. Vance should be the next president? And suddenly, completely frosty tone, Erika says, well, let's just appreciate that Trump is president, and, my husband fought to get Trump in office. She wouldn't answer. So you go from she's hugging his head, he's the only one that can replace, if I grabbed his ass, that would have been less controversial. But then after the Israel lobby turns on Vance, now she goes, oh, I don't know if he should be the next president. That is weird as fuck. And I tweeted the video. It's on my Twitter timeline. It's so, whatever that is, it's weird. And something's up there.
What do you think is the truth about Erika Kirk?
I think that she is an extremely ambitious person. And like I said, I think it was an arranged marriage. I think she is somebody who wanted to marry political royalty. He needed a wife. Mm-hmm. They were set up.
By who? Who arranged it? They met in Israel.
Who knows? The powers that be, the fixers, their handlers, whoever. Because when you're a Charlie Kirk, when you're an Erika, you swim in that school of fish, with connected people. You don't even know who's beside you sometimes. And so they were put together. They say that Erika applied to work for Turning Point, and that's how they met. That's a crock of shit. Mm-hmm. So I think that now that Charlie's dead, they're trying to groom her to be some kind of political figure. And they're creating... The reason I think that is because they are choreographing these breakout moments. I forgive the killer. That was a choreographed moment. That's like an Obama-esque West Wing, House of Cards, as cynical as it gets. Here's your white dress. Here's your husband's memorial. You're going to forgive the killer, and everyone is going to say, "Oh, Erika's amazing," whatever. So like they're like grooming her for something. I think
that is. Even though I could see your argument there, that is what you're supposed to say as a Christian. You're supposed to forgive your enemies. Mm-hmm. So there's some respect there. No,
because she doesn't. I don't think she does. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone could. I mean, let's say your husband got murdered in cold blood, and a week later you go, "I'm over it. I forgive him." Like as Christians, you don't just freely forgive everybody. Sometimes it takes time, and the person needs to be repentant, and even then, you don't exonerate that person. So, I thought it was ridiculous because here's how I feel about it. Either she meant it, in which case it's kind of fucked up. It's like if my wife, imagine if you got murdered and your wife came out a week later and was like, "I forgive his killer." You'd be like, "I'm sorry, you're not angry still? You're not like upset?" And if she's lying, then that's like really evil to say you forgive him when you really don't, because it's like you're just,
Yeah, so guys, let me know in the comments what you think. If you agree with Nick, or maybe you lean towards Candace or Turning Point, let me know in the comments. Leave a like if you want to. Christ is King, and God bless you.